Thank you, Chairman Rogers, and for holding this very important hearing, and the Honorable Mr. Horowitz, thank you for being here. Like many other Americans, I have grave concerns regarding the way the Justice Department has conducted itself in recent years. It's become apparent that there is a two-tiered justice system that is rotting our republic, and it is past time to dismantle this injustice, I think, before it further erodes the bedrock foundation of our nation. Just earlier this week, the House Judiciary Committee and the Select Subcommittee on Weaponization of the Federal Government released a startling report that shows the Biden administration and the DOJ shamelessly targeted concerned parents at school board meetings. This report outlines how the National School Board Association collaborated with the White House to develop the language for the National School Board Association's September the 29th, 2021 letter to President Biden, urging the use of federal law enforcement and counterterrorism resources, including the Patriot Act, against concerned parents across the nation. Then on October the 4th, 2021, just 5 days after the National School Board Association letter to President Biden, Attorney General Garland issued a memo that inserted federal law enforcement into local school board meetings. In Attorney General Garland's testimony to Judiciary Committee last year, he stated that his sole basis and source for this memo was ironically the very letter from the National School Board Association to President Biden, which the two had collaborated on. The FBI operationalized Attorney General Garland's memo to create a new special tag to label and track, quote, school board threats. The FBI then weaponized this, opening dozens of investigations into concerned parents' conduct at school board meetings. We saw the impact of this memo across the nation, including in my district of North Georgia, where the United States Attorney for the Northern District of Georgia deployed domestic terrorism resources against parents. A parent concerned about radical woke policies at their child's school should not be accosted by the federal domestic terrorism squad. So my question to you is, do you know the amount of resources that the Department of Justice spent on the creation and implementation of the Department of Justice memo?
I don't have those numbers as I sit here today. I can certainly follow up and talk with you further, Congressman.
That would be great. I would appreciate knowing how much the department spent on that. Do you think it was appropriate for the DOJ to spend its limited resources on investigating parents at school board meetings?
You know, Congressman, I stay out of the policy decisions. That's not our, we quite clearly by law are not supposed to get in policy disputes. That's really a question for the committee to decide in terms of funding. So I'll defer on that.
Okay, all right. Well, then I just look forward to your response on the amount of money that they actually spent on this. Now, I would like to ask for unanimous consent to submit the report titled A Manufactured Issue. A Manufactured Issue and Misapplied Priorities. Subpoenaed documents show no legitimate basis for the Attorney General's anti-parent memo. I'd like to submit this to the record.
Without objection.
Thank you. All right, now to follow up on our ranking member's comment about a 22% cut to your budget, you know, I'm confident that wouldn't happen. You know, a cut to the Department of Justice would not be evenly distributed across the board. I would think that one of the last areas to trim would be the Office of Inspector General. The DOJ needs additional oversight and not less. So your office might be the only area that sees no cuts, maybe an increase. We need to figure out what's wrong, what's going wrong. Too loud? Just a little bit. Okay. We need to figure out why in the world the Department of Justice, their reputation, well, we know why their reputation is going down, but we need to fix that. And your office, I think, is part of that process. Also, to follow up on the chairman's line of questioning in the last minute that I've got, back in 2013, I was a victim of an overzealous assistant United States attorney. You probably know of this situation, where I suffered significant abuse by the IRS. This was before I was ever a member of Congress. The abuse was so bad that I got a personal apology from the IRS Commissioner Koskinen. The misconduct was a violation of legal ethics, where the assistant United States attorney made a threat of criminal prosecution in order to obtain a civil monetary settlement. And that's a violation of legal ethics. You know, that conduct was referred to the Department of Justice Office of Professional Responsibility, where it died. So I wholeheartedly concur with the chairman that Congress needs to reevaluate this. And the Department of Justice OPR, maybe it should come under the Office of Inspector General, or maybe it just needs to be dissolved into you. But I think that needs to be looked at.
Yep.
So I yield back, Mr. Chairman.